I'm Carolyn Putney, Curator of Asian Art at the Toledo Museum of Art, and I'd like to welcome you to Life in Miniature, ceramic Netsuke from the Silverman collection. The show's just opened in October and will run through spring of 2011. So I'd like to just walk around the gallery with you and talk about how we've installed it and what the meaning of ceramic Netsuke are. A Netsuke is a little toggle, or like a button, if you will, that held a purse of some kind, a container, onto a Japanese gentleman's belt, or obi as they're called. Netsuke were probably first invented in China and were created out of natural materials, either a piece of stick or root or coral, some kind of natural object that would help keep container onto a sash. And in Japan, Netsuke became an art form unto itself. They adapted it from the Chinese, and in fact there is a little pair of Chinese shoes in this exhibition which date from the 13th century, showing that the practice was well in hand in China. But we really don't begin to see Netsuke in Japan until the 17th century. The Netsuke in this exhibition are all made out of ceramic, which makes it very unusual indeed. It's a rare material, one that was fairly fragile, and we have just been given this wonderful gift of 227 Netsuke by a collector, Richard Silverman, who was originally from Toledo, now lives in Los Angeles, and he has been very generous in helping us with our Netsuke collection over the years. The museum has a good Netsuke collection, a general one that was started in the 1920s and was given a bigger gift in the 1950s, and then Richard Silverman began to give us Netsuke in the 1980s. And this is his largest gift to date, and it is a wonderful variety of the kinds of ceramic Netsuke that were made in Japan from the early 18th century right on up through the 21st century. So we decided to create this small exhibition because these objects are really small, and it shows the breadth and variety of subject matter that the Japanese used while creating these small sculptures, and literally that's what they are. So there are a variety of them. We've organized them by theme, and some of the themes are animals, mythical creatures and gods, natural objects, masks, theatrical masks from Japan, and we've laid them all out so that you can easily see them on both sides. The history of Netsuke, ceramic Netsuke, goes back to the early 18th century. These objects were created during the Edo period, the early name for Tokyo, and the dates of the Edo period are 1603 to 1868. During that time, gentlemen would wear these and have whole collections of them, similar to men having collections of cufflinks or perhaps pens, things that you could show off to your friends, show your sophistication, your wit, and maybe even perhaps your wealth sometimes. So these ceramic Netsuke were made mostly by hand, although sometimes they were made in molds, and they were created at all of the different ceramic centers throughout Japan. And some terms you may be familiar with. There are some made in Hirado, there are some that were made near Tokyo or Edo, some made in Kyoto, and those all had kilns in which these ceramic Netsuke were made sort of as a sideline by potters and ceramicists. One living artist is represented, and her name is Lynn Richardson. So look for the beautiful little persimmon created by Lynn Richardson, and she is still working and creating ceramic Netsuke. Don't miss the gold ground screens, which are also in the exhibition. They were created in the 17th century and show a typical street fair in Kyoto. And these were very popular with collectors during the 17th century. And be sure to look for the little shop where a gentleman is selling the purses or inro that Netsuke were attached to, and two gentlemen are walking along with inro on their belts. So see if you can find those.